See, you may have informative images or process images. What are informative images? Line graph, bar graph, and pie charts. Those things are informative images. What are process images? Something will be shown to you. Okay, some kind of process. So the manufacturing process or something or such things. So how to describe informative images first? So guys, one more thing that I wanted to discuss. There is a fault with this structure that we are discussing over here. I'll tell you what the thing is. The overview has to be a separate paragraph. The structure that your task 1 will follow will be something like this. For the graphs and charts, okay, for informative images, not for diagrams and all, for informative images. For informative images, there is no conclusion. So the first paragraph is known as introduction. And in the introduction, you just paraphrase the question. In the introduction, you will just paraphrase the question. What will you do? What does the graph show? You just have to write that thing. Okay, the graph shows X, Y, Z, whatever the graph shows. Next, in the next paragraph, you have to give an overview of the passage, of the diagram that is shown to you. Now, what is overview? Overview means the most or the highest and the least and the lowest. This is what you have to write in the overview, followed by two body paras. Next, you write body para. Body para 1 and para 2. Here you will describe the graphs, making comparisons. Okay, one very important thing about overview is that the overview should always start with the word overall. Always. Okay, it should start with overall, and you should never mention discrete values over here. Okay, discrete values means what? Let's say we discussed the population. We saw a line graph where we saw the population of 3 different states. Okay, so you can write that the population of Maharashtra was maximum in the year 2005. Let's say. Okay, but do not write how much the population was. The population of Maharashtra was highest at 5 billion. Wrong. Do not use that word 5 billion. You can use the year over there, but do not write discrete values. This is very important, and it should always start with the word overall. The overview should always start with the word overall. So first, in the first line, the introduction of your graph, you will just write one line. In the introduction, you will just write one line. What will be that? That will be just the paraphrasing of the question. Next, you will, in the overview, you will write overall, and you will write the most and or the highest, the least or the lowest, followed by two body paras. Here you can use discrete values. You have to use discrete values. So here use discrete values. And describe the main features only, not everything. And making comparisons is again very important. Now when I say that you have to make comparisons, what are the words that you can use to make comparison? So to make comparisons, you can use while, meanwhile, okay. What else can you use? At the same time, in the same fashion. So when do you use in the same fashion? When the trends are similar, right? for similar trend. When one is increasing and the other one is also increasing, then we can use in the same trend or in the same fashion. Then likewise. So when will we use likewise? Again, when the both of them are increasing or both of them are decreasing, then we'll use again for similar trend. Okay. Then similarly also you will use when the trend is same. Either both of them are increasing or both of them are decreasing. Similar trend. Now for opposite trend, one is increasing, the other is decreasing. What will you write? On the other hand. Okay. And you can use by contrast. On the contrary. So you can use all these words when the trends are not similar or opposite trends. So this is for similar trends in the same fashion. Likewise, similarly, when the two trends are same, either both of them are increasing or both of them are decreasing. Here one of them is increasing and the second one is decreasing, then you can use these things. Got it? You can also use whereas. For opposite trend you can use whereas. X was increasing whereas Y was decreasing. Okay. So these are very important words, guys. You get marks for this when you use these words. So for overview, we have to write a separate paragraph. The one that we'll see now, the PPT that we'll see now, over there, overview has been considered as a part of the introduction itself, but it should not be a part of introduction. It is a separate paragraph. Okay. I hope you will not be confused with that now. So here what is written as sentence 2 will actually be a overview is actually a separate paragraph. Okay. So the introduction should be written in 2 sentences. No, it should be written in 1 sentence only. This is the introduction. This is the overview. Let me write this over here. This is not the sentence. This is the overview. It should always start with overall, comma, and you can continue with this. This is your introduction. Got it? So in the introduction, there will be just one line. Paraphrase the question in your own words. Try to use good vocabulary. We'll see that. What is the meaning of using good vocabulary? Write the overview which should include important features. Don't use data. Don't use data means here they are talking about discrete values. Okay, very important. And important features, the most important features, the highest increase or decrease and such things only. Next, here is an example of a bar graph. And what kind of a bar graph this is? This is horizontal bar graph, right? So this is showing. So some land's main exports. Okay, the graph below gives information about some land's main exports in 2005, 2015, and future predictions for 2025. Summarize the information by selecting and reporting. See, this is a common instruction for all the graph questions that you get. Summarize the information by selecting and reporting the main features and make comparisons where relevant. Or sometimes you get write a report for a university lecturer by selecting and reporting the main features and make comparisons where relevant. So this is the meat products, the export, right? Export. The export of meat product in the year 2005, in the year 2015, and this is in the year 2025, right? Similarly, 05, this is 15, and this is 25. So 05, 15, and 25. So what will you write? So first, how do we paraphrase the question? Now, people who are facing problem with paraphrasing, let's try to understand this. The graph below So instead of graph, what are the words that we can use? You can use the word chart. Always remember, you can use the word chart. Below, instead of below, what you can, so below you don't have to use, because here it's below, but in the answer you will not. Gives, instead of gives you can say shows, represents, illustrates, demonstrates, depicts. There are so much work, there are so many words that we can use, right? Information about, okay, information about some land's main exports. So the chart gives, instead of information, what can be used? Series. The graph below gives information. So see, Ashwarya, this is what I wanted you to do. You can break this sentence into smaller parts and then you can summarize each of them. The graph below, the given statistics, gives information about, provides data. Guys, write these words in your notebook. These words will help you. Instead of information, you can use the word data. Okay. So shows data on or provides data for, you can add anything. Some lands main exports. So some lines instead of main you can use primary, okay, or you can also use the most important exporting products. Exports, they have used exporting products in 2005 and 2015, during 2005 and 2015, and future projections. Future projections means predicted figure for 2025, for the year 2025. So the best way of doing it is to break the sentence into smaller parts. This you have to do in the planning stage. Okay, in the planning stage, strictly follow the power approach of the writing. Give 10 minutes to, on planning and organizing. That is very, very important. Okay, so once you have paraphrased the question, this is how. Okay, let's see these things first. And now sentence 2, or this is not the sentence 2, this is the overview. So what should you write in the overview? The most and the least, right? See, the biggest, smallest, trends, the most and the least, or the lowest, the most and the highest, or the least or the lowest. So here you can see that this one is highest along with this one, and which one is the lowest of all? This one is the lowest, right? So we'll write that it is evident from the graph that the meat products, that the, okay, one more thing guys, this is about 2025. So how will we write that the export of meat products will be least among all three products in the year in 2025. Is this statement correct guys? Tell me. Tense is very, very important. When you are writing a graph, a report, tense is very, very important. So 2005 and 2015, when you are talking about those, you will write was, right? It is in simple past. But when when we are predicting a future, try to understand that it's a prediction. Mark my word. What is it? It's a prediction. When we say prediction, we are not sure about it, right? It is just a predicted value. Nobody can bet on this value. Nobody can vouch on these values. So when you say will shows surety. So do not use will. For future, always use may or might. Always remember this. Whenever any future predictions are given, you should use that it is predicted that the value of the meat products will be the least exported among all the three products. Got it guys? So will shows surety. Nobody is sure. It is just a prediction. So always keep that in mind. So this is the least and this is the most. So you will write about these two in the overview. You will write that it is predicted that the international tourism will be the highest, will be the most important trade or the highest trading. See, this is talking in terms of USD billion, right? So it will become the uh, highest earning export by the year. It may become the highest export by the year 2022, and meat products will become the least consumed, or it will become the least of the three products by the year in terms of its revenue by the year 2000. Okay, or okay, by the year 2025. So both of these are about future only, so we have to use may. See, orange one means this is also about future and this is also future. This is also 25 and this is also 25. So it may, meat products may become the least of the least profitable of all of the three, least profitable of the three export products, whereas international tourism might become the most profitable by the year 2025. Right? So you're talking about the most and the least. You can also talk about dairy products if you want. You can either talk about this one or this one. Both of them are approximately the same that you can see. So now the body paras. So in the body para, what will you write? So there are two ways of doing it. Okay, see. Identify the trend, similarity in trend. What's it? One way of writing the body paras is by identifying the similarity in trend. Now, how to find similarity in trend is okay. You have to compare the values of each of these products in respective years. So this was this much, exactly 4, whereas the dairy products in the same year was this much. Okay. Then again, international tourism in the same year was this much. Now talking about 2015. So you can say that this one was somewhere around this 3 and this one was, got it. So for different products in the same year you can compare that way, or you can compare the same product also in 3 different ways, in 3 different years, whether it increased or decreased. There are 2 ways of doing that. It increased, you can say that international tourism was the least in the year 2005, but it experienced gradual increase until the year 2025. It is predicted that it will reach the maximum by the year 2025 to $8 billion. Whereas the meat products went on decreasing, the consumption of meat went on decreasing, due to which the possible revenue also plummeted in the subsequent years. It can be seen that the meat consumption was highest in the year 2005 and decreased in the year 2015, and predictions are that it will become the least among all by the year 2005 at around contributing for around $3 billion of the economy. Getting it? So there are 2 ways in which you can do that. You can compare the same product in the 3 different years, or you can compare 3 different products in 3 different years. So you can segregate in terms of 3 paragraphs. In one paragraph you can compare for 2 years. In the third paragraph you can compare for 2005 and 15 of each of these products in one paragraph. For the year 2025 for each of them you can compare in the second body paragraph. You can organize this way. So it's written in 2015 the dairy products were the major export of this country, with earning a little below $8 billion. Whereas it is assumed that in 2025 revenue from meat products will be the lowest at, okay, they have written assumed. Assumed means not sure. Predicted, assumed, these are the words. That it will be around $3 billion. It can also be seen that the businesses done by the 3 industries kept on fluctuating for 3 different years. So none of them are increasing or decreasing. One is increasing, the other is decreasing, right? So they have used the word fluctuating. So they are not writing about everything. They are just writing about the main features over here. This is very, very important. Not write about everything. Write only about the main features. Next, it is estimated that international tourism will continue to grow so that by 2025 it will be earning around $8 billion for the country. So it is estimated that, okay, again it is not sure, they have used the word estimated. However shows what? Contrast, right? So here they are talking about growing, increasing. So as soon as you come across however, you should understand that they will talk about decrease now, because it's a contrast indicator. So for opposite trend, this one was they were talking about increasing, now they're talking about decreasing. So however, okay, so however the meat products export will fall from $4 billion to $3 billion from 2005 to 2025. Will fall? No, might fall. Okay, there is trend there is a noticeable trend of varied earnings for dairy products from with around $5 billion in 2005, $8 billion in 2015, and $7 billion in 2025. Okay, so now here you can see that they have written about the most and the least again over here. They have just explained the most and the least with the values. In the overview, you just write that in this year it was maximum, in this year it was minimum. Here you can explain. They have explained that over here. $8 billion was the maximum and $3 billion was the minimum. Getting it? So they have, and then they have written the fluctuating. Got it? In the next paragraph, they have written about the other details of the graph. Next, the final response will look something like this. So this will be a second paragraph, and there is no conclusion. Instead of conclusion, we have the overview. This is your overview. So delete this one. So here you can see that values. You can see so many values written over here. So yes, if you miss these values in the body paragraphs, you should use values. Compare with values. Okay, year and values.